Good morning. Welcome to practice. We're going to start standing today. Feet under the hips. Finding the breath. We're going to find the Ujjayi breath where you can just feel the texture of the breath. Very slight constriction in the throat. And it means you can hear the breath. And it sounds a little bit like a distant ocean. And emphasize slightly your exhalation. Make it a little bit longer. Feel the warmth of that breath. And we're going to feel our mountain pose, our feet on the floor, the ground. The immense lift of the body, the front body, top of the head. The grounding of the back body, heel. The broad chest and upper arm. Palms in. And like the face of a snowy mountain. Take up space. Feel you're part of the great breath. We'll take the arms up on the inhalation and down on the exhalation. Inhaling up and exhaling in your own time. See if you can let the breath be the driver of the movement. So you're really following the rhythm of the breath. As you take the arms up now, also stand up onto your tiptoe. And as you exhale, lower down. And as you lower down now, add in bending your knees and dip down a little, like a chair pose. So dip down towards the heel. Back into Tadasana. We're going to go with the arms at about shoulder height, turning from side to side. And again, we're going to let this movement flow with the breath. Keep your hips facing forward and feel the movement in your rib cage, middle back. Good. Now, as you take your arms to the right, Take your right leg behind you and make a little curtsy, and then come back to center. The arms go left. You take your left leg behind you, make a little curtsy back to center. And again, we're still just following the breath. Reaching where it feels good to reach. Bending as deeply as it feels good to bend. Good. And back to center. Turn the palms up. Make little circles. Try to reach your thumbs as far back into that part of your movement as you can. Feet are under the hip. Parallel. Legs are hip width. Parallel. Good. Let's keep the arms going. And with the breath, we're going to make just a little bit of a squat position and inhale and come up. Good. Exhaling, a little bit of a squat position. Inhale, come. Let's try adding in, when you come up, you're going to lift the heel. Take the circles in the other direction. Try to keep your parallel leg. Feeling the flow of breath. The challenges of the movement. Good. And then release. Relax. We're going to come down onto the floor into forward virasana. Still tuned in to the flow of your breath. Let's look for opportunities to lengthen the back body. The chest, to broaden the chest. Good. And then looking forward at your hand, we're going to bend the elbows out to the side, bring the chest along the floor so that you're laying on your tummy, elbows in, elbows back. Lift up, cobra pose. Bhujangasana. Good, up into all fours. And then tuck your toes under and downward facing dog pose. Swing the hips from side to side to lengthen the side ribs. Back to center. And then forward virasana. Look forward at your hand. Inhaling. Exhaling. Elbows out wide. Chest along the floor. Onto your tummy. Cobra pose. Legs parallel. Elbows in, elbows back. Looking up. Good. Up into all fours. Arch your spine up. Arch your spine down. Downward facing dog pose. Swing the hips from side to side. Really try to open up the rib cage with that movement. Feeling the flow and rhythm of your breath. Good, and then forward virasana. Really let the body lengthen and broaden. Take up space. Mm. And looking forward at your hand. Elbows out wide. Just along the floor until you're on your tummy and Bhujangasana. Cobra pose. Elbows in, elbows back. Try to keep the shoulder blades down. Good. Up into all fours. Arch the spine. Oh, retract the belly. Arch the spine down. Let the belly lengthen. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. And again, side to side movement with the hips. And this time, as you swing the hips left, take your right foot over to the left side of the mat behind your left leg. Good. And really reach the hips over in that direction. Good. And then as you swing the hips right, pick up the left foot, swing it over to the right side of the mat, swing the hips all the way right. So that'll just make it a little bit stronger. Good. So do that a couple more times each side. Almost like a dance that follows the breath. Tuned into your breath and how much you need to reach or be in these postures. Good. And then forward Virasana. Good. And then coming up into all fours. We're going to take the right fingertip and put them near your right knee so that you've got one hand stretching forward and one hand stretching back. And if you bring the right hand further forward, it'll be a bigger stretch for the forearm, the wrist. So put it where it feels good. And then just gentle rocking forward and back. And little circles around the wrist. Good. And then release that side. And left fingertips. So if you start off just with the fingertips near the knee, it should be quite doable for the wrist. But if you start to bring the wrist forward, then it gets stronger. So you determine where that needs to be. A gentle rocking forward and back. And then little circles with the shoulders around. Good. Let's come back into forward Virasana. Do our cycle again. Looking forward at your hands, elbows out wide, chest along the floor. Bhujangasana, elbows in, elbows back. We're pressing up into all fours. And we're going to arch the spine down, come into downward facing dog pose. Still feeling the sound of that Ujjayi breath. So fingerprints out wide, press them, press the base of your index fingers. Okay, now as we swing the hips left, take the right foot behind your left leg onto the floor like we did before. Good, but we're going to keep turning and take the right arm up. Good. And back to downward facing dog pose. Good. As you swing your hips right, we pick up the left foot, take it to the right side of your mat, let the hips swing, and see how you go. Taking up your left arm. Good. From side to side. One more each side. Nice work. And this time resting your hands in child's pose. Mm. Finding the flow of breath satisfying. Nice work. Arms all the way forward, forward virasana. But bring the elbows onto the floor to stretch the fingers out wide. We'll rest the wrists a little. And take your knees back so that you're in a modified plank position. That means you're going to drop your hips towards the floor, but not onto the floor. We're lifting the front core of the body. Good. And then roll the hips to the left, back to center. Roll the hips to the right. Still in tune with the flow of your breath. Feeling the core of the body really lifting to support the spine. Try to keep your forearms parallel. Nice work. Lay down onto your tummy. Take your hands back beside you. Mm. We're going to roll over onto the right side so you can bring your left knee up towards your left shoulder. Your foot is kind of in the center of your mat. And then rolling back onto your tummy. Good. And then bring the foot out to the left side. Just notice the angle of the hips from the floor. And we're aiming for getting the hips level to the floor. Letting that part of the body relax. Good. And then release that side, and then we'll roll onto the left side so that you can bring your right knee up towards your right shoulder. Start off with the foot towards the center of the mat and roll back onto your tummy. Just resting your hands on your forehead on your hand. Following the flow of your breath. And notice the different feeling when you take the right foot out now, further out than the knees. You're going to aim for relaxing at the hips, the pelvis, and relaxing the hips towards the floor. Good. And then release that leg back to the mat, back to center. Just press up into all fours and take the knees out wider than your mat. Good. And feet in touching, so big toes touching. And then see if you can lay yourself down onto your forearms. Maybe your forehead touches the floor, or you can rest there. Okay, and then try taking your feet out a little bit wider. Good. And then release by lying down, coming forward and lying down. Good. Release your legs. And we're going to push up. And we're going to push all the way up to standing. And come to the front of the mat with a chair if you find that useful for putting your hands onto. Okay. Tadasana with the Ujjayi breath. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana, relaxed spine, looking for the feeling of stretch in your leg. Good. We're going to take a big step back with the left foot, and it's going to be for a warrior pose. So line up the center of your left foot in an arch with your right heel. Good. And we're going to put our right elbow or hand onto the right knee. Left hand on your hip. Just start to drop the hips towards the floor. But really feel that you've got some internal muscular support. So lifting the pelvic floor. Left hip rolls back, left wrist roll back. Can you turn the hips, the pelvis and the rib cage enough so that when you look at the ceiling, it's easeful for your neck? And if it's not easeful for your neck, look forward. Otherwise, look up. Good, and we'll reach the left arm by the left ear. You feel that lovely awareness in the feet, strength in the legs, length of the spine. We're going to lift the torso into a warrior two. Looking over your right fingertips, but reaching back through the left fingertips. Feeling the Ujjayi breath. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Press them so you can anchor down your shoulder blades. We're going to step forward to the front of the mat and balance on the right foot. Ooh. Whatever that balance might be like this morning. It might just be all wobbles. Bring the left foot in front. You can have your tiptoes on the floor. You might hold your knee or your foot. Good, and then releasing that side. Tadasana. Urdhva-hastasana. Uttanasana. Big step back with the right foot, and we're aiming for our warrior feet. So line up the center of the right foot in an arch with your left. Bend your left knee. Bring your left elbow or your hand onto your left knee. Right hand onto. We want to bend the knee or drop the hips as much as your body can and lift the pelvic floor. Take the right hip back, the right rib back, and see how that feels in your neck to look up at the ceiling. So if you feel like you're straining your neck, just look forward. Keep that sense of ease. But really lengthening here now. Trusting your groundedness, your strong legs, your ability to lengthen your spine. So let's take the right arm up by the right ear. With a powerful core, we're going to lift the torso, bring the arms out from the shoulders. We're looking over the left fingertips, but really reaching back through the right. Be as deeply bent into your left knee as your body allows. Lift the belly, lift the pelvic floor. Feel the flow of the Ujjayi breath. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Press them so you can draw the shoulder blades down. Think about your movement. Step forward, balance on the left foot. Balance or wobble, as the case may be. Finding your footing, finding your balance. Right leg in front. Taking your balance. Oh. And releasing. Feet on the floor under your hips, Tadasana. Letting your mountain take up space. Feel the vitality of the Ujjayi breath, the life force. Inhale, Amsa. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Good. This time for triangle pose. Left foot back. Line up the arch with your right heel. So we want to try and get the legs straight here, but if they feel pretty intensely stretched already, just try that. Find your footing. Feel your legs are strong. We're going to lift the torso into Trikonasana. So the right hand's on your right leg, where you can reach to. Left arm reach up. You can try and straighten your legs now with the kneecap. Can you lengthen the sides of your waist, particularly your right waist, the one that's closer to the floor? And inhale. And come up. Good. We'll bring the hands in front of your heart. And we'll step forward. Balance on the right foot. Take your left knee out to the side. So whether you're holding your knee or your foot or your toes are on the floor. Good. And now take the leg behind you. The tip is forward at the hip. Take the left leg behind. Lift the torso forward as far as you can balance. Maybe even parallel to the floor. Good. And then lifting up into Tadasana. Finding your mountain. Inhale, Amsa. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Inhale. Right foot steps back for Trikonasana. So lining up your heel, the center of your right foot inner arch. We try to get the legs straight to lift up, but you might have to have them a little bit bent. And lift up into Trikonasana, then you'll be able to straighten. Good. Right hip rolling back, right hip rolling back. Can you lengthen your left waist, the waist closer to the floor? Heart lifting towards the ceiling as the right wrist roll back. Good. And a powerful core. We're going to lift up. Stepping forward and balancing onto the left foot. And right knee now goes out to the side. Now we're going to take the leg behind, tip forward at the hips. Straighten the right leg out behind you. You can always put your tiptoes on the floor. Or you can lift the leg and bring the torso towards parallel towards the floor. Virabhadrasana 3. Keep the hips level to the floor. Good, and then lifting up. Tadasana. Inhale, Uttanasana. I'm going to try and take little steps to walk back. So you might have to be in quite a bent leg position to start that off. Downward facing dog pose. And then gently lowering your knees to the floor and taking a seat onto a blanket. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and hold on to your knees or your ankles and balance so your feet come off the floor. Feel that there's a real support from the pelvic floor lifting and the belly supporting the spine. Good. Now you can do this next part holding onto your legs still, or you can try releasing your hands and hold them in front of your heart. And what we're going to do is try and take the legs to the right, but the upper body to the left. Legs left, upper body right. Feel the work of the core. We want to keep an ease for the spine. Nice work. And release. And we're going to do a forward bend, whatever is more comfortable for your leg or for your knee. Simple cross-legged position, or you might have your legs out wide and straight. Hands behind the hip. Make a back bend. Good. And then almost waving the spine. Try and find your forward range of movement and then wave out of that. So if you're very challenged in your forward bend, keep going with this waving movement. If you enjoy that reaching forward and holding, then do that. So reach your spine as far forward as you can and take a hold. You might rest your hands on the floor. And finding again the flow of your breath, feeling of life force in that Ujjayi breath. And if your legs are crossed, come up so you can change the cross of your leg. And waving forward again. Holding your forward bend. Good, and then waving on up. taking laying down position. Ooh. Take the left heel onto the right knee and hug the legs in close, close as they'll go. And then straightening your right leg. Good. And then releasing that side and right heel, left knee. Bring the legs in as close as you can. And then straightening your left leg. And then releasing. Hands onto your belly and press your lower back into the floor. Good. Bring your feet up off the floor so your knees are 90 degrees and your arms straight up from your shoulders. And we're going to take the left leg out to straighten the right arm overhead and then back to that starting position. Really try to press your lower back into the floor. Keep it very active. Good. And release. Take your arms out from your shoulders, inside edges of your feet together, knees together. Lift your hips and swing them right, and knees go left. And at first, let's take a passive way of being in this pose. Let's relax the shoulders so the neck feels long. Letting the legs be heavy. Accepting, receiving the shape of the pose. And then aware of your core strength and hover your knees and your feet just off the floor without bringing tension into the upper body. And with that strong core awareness, lifting your legs up to center and put your feet back down on the floor as you swap your hips. Knees go right. And just rest your legs at first. Take note. Feeling the warmth of the Ujjayi breath. And we're going to bring the awareness to the core, feeling powerful there as you hover your feet and your knees off the floor, but keeping your upper body relaxed. And then lifting your legs back to center. Hands back to the belly. Feeling the flow of breath. And if you'd like to stay for the Shavasana, then lay your legs out straight. If you need to finish your practice, namaste and rolling over to your side. So if you're staying, you've got your legs out straight. Always recall that if you lay down flat and there's any discomfort in your lower back, putting a rolled up blanket under your thigh can be really nice. My blanket to cover me on my cold floor. Mm. You've been paying attention to the flow of the breath for the practice. Feel the warmth of the exhalation. And let the breath quieten now. Almost as if you are being breathed. We're transitioning now from being a human doing to a human being. Feel the sensation of your toes, your feet. The soles of your feet in step, your ankles. Feel the sensation of your lower legs and your knees. Your thigh, your hip, your belly, your buttock, your lower back, middle back, between your shoulder blades, your shoulders, back rib, side rib, front rib, around your heart and collarbone. Now your shoulders and armpit. Feel the sensation of your arms elbow, forearm, wrist, palm, thumb, finger. And now your neck and throat, the base of your skull, scalp, forehead, around your eyebrows and between them, around your eyes, your nose, sinus, around your mouth, lips, tongue, palate, jaw, ear, whole body, whole body, whole body, and the focus of your awareness, breath by breath. Notice the weight of your body, the support beneath you, the flow of breath. Begin to move out of stillness with kind compassion, rolling to your side and coming up to sitting. Mm. Bringing your hands in front of your heart. Take the feeling of practice with you. Namaste.